Alright, welcome to Fragrance Awards 2025. Now, all of the fragrances you see are the perfumes of the year. Like every year, there has been numerous fragrance releases this year too. Among all those stuffs, these colognes are some of the best and most notable of them. Instead of doing regular top 25 fragrances, I have decided to keep a set number of categories, and for each one of those categories, I am going to give just one winner, and there will be some honorable mentions and 4 fragrances that came very close. Do keep in mind that not all of these fragrances have been released in the calendar year 2025, but these are the best options you can consider even in 2026. Hopefully you will find this one to be one of the most fun videos and certainly a very interesting one. But these are of course my awards, so the awards I give are the ones which I find the most worthy. Without any further ado, let's jump into it. The first category, the never-ending scents. Well, I have done a few long-lasting and beast mode fragrance videos, but these 5 perfumes are just top of the line. These are the ones which you are never going to overspray and still they are going to last for the full day. Now, a fragrance that deserves the honorable mention is the Lattafa Teriyaki Intense. It doesn't quite make the cut, but it is still a very long-lasting fragrance. It is a sweet fragrance that is in the similar space as that of Kilian's Angel's Hair, and there is a spicy saffron twist to it. And cherry on the top, it is also one of the best Lattafa fragrances out there. And now the 4 runner-up fragrances for this category, with the 4th one being the Havas Elixir. If you think you love sweet vanilla, little bit of tobacco along with aromatic qualities of lavender, and to round it all off a fresh minty opening, then my friend definitely pick this fragrance for the winters. It will also heavily remind you of the Lattafa Kingdom, JPG Lemal Elixir, Armaf's Lionheart Man and so many more fragrances. But still, in longevity, this is superior to all of them. The 3rd runner-up and also one of my favorite fragrances, it is the Afnan 9pm Rebel. This one has a very sweet sugary pineapple smell, and in the dry down this perfume moves towards that woody and green nuances. It is perfectly unisex and you can rock this fragrance all year round. The biggest advantage of this fragrance that it is mass appealing in nature, so it is guaranteed to give you tons of compliments. Now speaking about mass appealing fragrance, there is another one on this list. It's the Ahmad Al Maghribi O'Clock. Once again a very sweet fragrance with the combination of apple and vanilla, but with a fizzy freshness at the top. For further details of all of these fragrances, do check the full review on my channel. And yes, don't forget to subscribe as well. Now the second fragrance which didn't win might actually surprise you. It's not because why it is on this list, but why it's not the top fragrance. It is very rare to see a complete fresh fragrance that dominates in performance category in such a manner. But the Lattafa Atlas does it really well. It's aquatic, it's salty, and it's definitely loud. In fact, so loud it might give headache to people around you. So don't overspray this pale green beast, and I would not recommend this fragrance in the formal or office settings. And finally, the first perfume and the least expensive among these, it's the Rasasi Amber Alive. It is a Barbershop fragrance with just superb performance, and it really deserves to be the winner of the never-ending scents category. What can I say? This perfume projects for nearly 4 hours. However, since it is a masculine old school fragrance, you will have to decide whether you like soapy, shaving cream, green, piney fragrances or not. You can always check the full review on my channel. Speaking of old school fragrances, the next category is the 5 old fragrances that are still worth today. I mean in 2026. The cologne which deserves an honorable mention is none other than the Rasasi Darij. It's affordable, it's versatile, and it's a spicy, powdery, slightly sweet fragrance. I have talked about this fragrance in one of my recent videos, so do check that out if you are interested in this perfume. It's time for the 4th runner-up, and it's none other than Rosa's Moustache. This perfume is on the similar lines as that of Tuxedo. It smells classy, old school yet timeless. It opens up with a bright citrus along with little bit of pink pepper, and later it moves to slightly floral and sweet territory. But do keep in mind it never ventures into extreme sweetness. The benzoin, vanilla and the patchouli are very restrained in this fragrance. Now the 3rd runner-up of this category is the Lattafa Al Nasama Caprice, a fragrance which I had reviewed when I was just starting this channel. It has the versatility of a blue fragrance, but also a seductive alluring quality to it. It has a beautiful combination of citrus, some cardamom and woody facets. If you want a signature scent that will deliver every time, you can definitely consider this one. Now the 2nd runner-up is also a very classic one. It is the David of Zeno. Once once again a barbershop fragrance, but this time it is less focused on that green accords. And you know what? This perfume will remind you of the discontinued Tom Ford's Beau de Jour, a classic combination of lavender, some spices, little bit of citruses along with rosewood, and to top it off some floral facets. A very long-lasting fragrance despite having just an EDT concentration. Now the final runner-up of this category, this is a fragrance that I have recommended many times. It is the John Lowe Immortal from the Maison Alhambra, a perfume which you simply can't go wrong with. It has the tried and tested combination of citrus and ginger, making it a mass-appealing scent with the versatility of a blue fragrance. By the way, I would love to hear your thoughts on any of these fragrances you have tried. So let me know your experience in the comment section down below. And if you have not subscribed to the channel already, please do consider subscribing to the channel as well. The winner of this category for me is none other than Bentley for Men Intense, a boozy, leathery, slightly spicy and sweet fragrance. I absolutely love this fragrance and I have made it clear many times on my channel. It is one of those affordable fragrances which smells really expensive and luxurious, and when you consider the price it comes at, it's absolutely a steal. The interesting thing here is that this perfume could have easily walked into the beast mode category as well, but do keep in mind this can be slightly polarizing in nature. There are some fragrances which are very close to you. For me, this is certainly one of them. Now the next category is perhaps the most interesting one. I am talking about the best fragrances that has been released in 2025. The cologne which receives the honorable mention is none other than the Afnan 9 PM Elixir, extremely versatile winter fragrance, and if you are looking for a sweet, spicy, tobacco based fragrance, you should definitely check out my full review. The good thing about Afnan fragrances is that their prices are very stable. And to the fourth runner up then, it is the Nusuk Atik. Once again I have discussed about it in one of my recent videos, but in short, this perfume is going to remind you of the Zerzov Naxos. You will get that elegant, spicy, sweet honey smell, and it is combined with aromatic, fresh, slightly powdery lavender. And for the complexity, there is a leafy tobacco accord here. It is a fantastic winter fragrance, and if possible, do try this one out. The third runner-up was released very late, but this is such a magnificent fragrance, I simply can't ignore it. It is difficult enough to do fresh fragrances differently, and this one does it and does it really well. It is the soul of Bali from the Swiss Arabian. It opens up with a tropical smell, but then it transforms to something mature, aquatic smell. Do keep in mind that this fragrance is complex and can be slightly polarizing in nature, so if possible, do try a decant since the prices are also on the higher side. For a bonus, this perfume is long lasting and perfectly unisex as well. Now moving on to the second runner-up. This year Afnan released many fragrances, but in my humble opinion, this is the best from the lot. A lot of beautiful juicy citruses combined with the fruity apricot note, some fresh minty opening and some sweetness in the dry down. If you ever needed a casual refreshing summer fragrance, this should be very high on your list. The scent profile will remind you of the Louis Vuitton specific chill, but I find the Rare Rift to be much more spicier. Anyways, you can check the full review of this fragrance on my channel, and I have gone thoroughly through this fragrance. Well, it's time for the second best fragrance of this year, and without a shadow of doubt, the Black Fume from Ahmad Al Maghribi thoroughly deserves it. Opening up with sweet and sour raspberry, it transforms to a totally different fragrance in the dry down. It becomes smoky, slightly powdery, along with a resinous ambery sweetness. For the price this perfume comes in, it's absolutely unbeatable in terms of value for money. You can grab one for roughly around $20. Now it's time for the best fragrance sillage of the year, and I would put the Aromatics Platin Blanc on the top. If you ever wanted a mint-focused fragrance for what I would say at a relatively affordable price, then I can't think of any fragrance that is coming close to the Platin Blanc. This perfume will really shine in the summer season, but since this is a fresh perfume, you simply can't go wrong with it. And it's not just the smell as well, the performance is top notch too. Just keep your expectation realistic when you are considering a fresh fragrance. And now to the next category, which I think most people are looking forward to. In this category, you will be getting the most value for your money. If you are looking for cheap, affordable or budget fragrances, don't worry, this category will do just that. For the honorable mention, I would consider the Nassim Aqua. While the performance is not something to boast about, the scent profile is just too elegant to ignore. Since this one is an aqua based fragrance, it is going to be soft but also smooth in terms of scent profile. There isn't going to be any alcohol blast in this fragrance. Once again, the classic combination of citrus and ginger in the opening, it dries down to a musky sandalwood smell. In between that, you will get slight hint of floral elements. A perfume that this one is going to remind you of is the Bulgari Tiger. If you haven't tried any aqua based fragrance, I would suggest you to start from this one. As the fourth runner up, I have picked two two fragrances. The first one being the Dark Door Intense from Maison Alhambra, and as you know I love iris based fragrances, so I had to include one here. For the price it really smells amazing. You are going to get that beautiful chocolatey waxy smell which might remind you of the lipsticky makeup smell. One more thing, if you want to check more affordable fragrances, I had made 2 to 3 videos with specific title in the mind, and I had covered those fragrances which were under 1500 rupees. If you are interested, do check those videos out. As I said, I have picked 2 fragrances for the 4th runner-up. The second one is also a powdery sweet fragrance, and it's the Frenetic Delicious from the Paris corner. Both of these are excellent date fragrances, and I would consider them both to be unisex. These 2 fragrances have the seductive and alluring quality to them, and both of these are highly recommended. I am not going into details as the video will be too long, and for some of you it might already be. As the third runner-up, I have picked a very sweet gourmand fragrance. It is the Intense Wayfarer from Pandora Scents. It has that sweet toffee smell along with little bit of cardamom, and if you love sweet fragrances, definitely go for this one. Perfectly unisex and great for cold weather. It is going to remind you of the Azzaro The Most Wanted EDP, I mean the totally black bottle. Moving on to the second runner-up in this category, a fragrance that you can consider for the formal events, especially during this cool weather. It is the Ahlam from Ajmal, a very spicy, slightly sweet fragrance, very similar to the Latafa Asad, but you can get this fragrance for under 1500 rupees easily. If you love the aromatic lavender smell but made slightly more modern and also masculine, then you are going to love it. The ultimate runner-up of this category is the Urban Man Le Parfum from Fragrance World. Beautiful, seductive, spicy cardamom mixed with some powdery iris and just the right amount of vanilla. In the cold weather, this is just the fragrance you would want to wear. Honestly, I think the aromatic spicy quality of this fragrance makes it very versatile in this cold weather. And now the winner of this category is the Paris corner Woo Zest. With this perfume you are going to get citrusy fresh aspect along with caramel and vanilla accord. It's fresh, it's sweet, and it is perfectly unisex. This unusual combination makes it perfect for all year round. It is a very underrated fragrance, and if possible do check this one out. It took a lot of time and effort to make this video, so if you find this video even slightly useful, please hit that like button so that it helps with the YouTube algorithm. In this video, I have tried to make a list of select few fragrances which will cater to most people's requirement. If you ever wanted a single video that covered most aspects to be the ultimate fragrance buying guide, hopefully this video is just that. But for now, let's move on to the next category. 3 of the most promising fragrances and 2 bust of the year. I haven't kept any honorable mention in this category, and the third promising fragrance was the Rihan Aquatica. This is a tropical scent that is done very nicely. You will get hint of coconut, a good amount of sweetness, and lots of citrusy and floral elements. So if you ever wanted a fragrance that is on the similar lines as that of Creed's Virgin Island Water, then do check out the full review of this fragrance on my channel. Now the second most promising fragrance is once again from the Rihan fragrances, but for a change this is a winter fragrance. I am talking about the Rihan Terra. In my full review video I had talked about why this fragrance is not the best but still one of the finest from the Rihan fragrances. If you want to smell something different, I mean sweet yet very balsamic in nature, and you are not afraid of polarizing fragrance, something Middle Eastern, then you can certainly go for the Rihan Terra. You are also going to get good performance out of this one. Just try before you buy it. And now the number 1 most promising fragrance of this year, I would pick the Rasasi Havas Cobra. I have kept this one on the promising list, but I have a gut feeling that it is going to be an excellent fragrance. I am reserving the full review of this fragrance as I will be testing this cologne in the upcoming spring and summer season. So do subscribe to the channel if you want to know my thoughts on this fragrance. And now something very subjective, and a lot of people might not also agree with this, but going with the flow, I am picking 2 of the worst fragrances of this year, and that is solely my opinion. The second worst fragrance of this year is surprisingly the Latafa Dukhan. Actually it's not a bad fragrance. The thing is, there is already a Latafa Masrabia and there is also the Latafa Khamra Kahwa. Both of which do the job much better in my opinion. If you are going to get a Khamra Dukhan, is it going to be a bad purchase? Absolutely not. It's a fine winter fragrance on its own, but there isn't any meaningful differences if you have other fragrances in your collection. And now the bust of the year for me, it is the Havas Tropical. I mean there are a lot of glowing reviews of this fragrance on the internet, but I simply can't come to like this fragrance. If you do, you can certainly go for it. Honestly, I love the bottle design and color, but the scent profile is just not for me. I would rather much prefer the JPG Lebo Le Parfum or the Cuddler's Tropical Island, but not this one. But I want to clear it out. Fragrances are very subjective in nature, and my opinion is just my opinion. You can definitely try this fragrance and see whether you like it or not. Your feedback and comments are always welcome. Now moving on to the surprising final category of this year, and this is the evocative scents of the year. I will be picking 2 honorable mentions for this award, and these perfumes are going to be very versatile, long lasting as well as mass appealing. Think like a fragrance that one size fits all. The first honorable mention is the Afnan Supremacy Collector's Edition. It is a very good pineapple fragrance with just the right amount of sweetness and green elements along with some woodiness. But I do get a slight hint of metallic element, and for just that reason I am picking this as an honorable mention. And the second honorable mention before we go to the winner, it is the Ibrahim Al Quraisi French Tobacco. Very juicy citrusy fragrance with just a touch of sweetness and some freshness from the lemongrass. And to round it all off, it has a spicy, fresh, sparkling ginger note. The scent profile is on the similar lines as that of Imagination, but with a spicy and lemongrass twist. Once again, it's also very long lasting and perfectly versatile, and I would even say this is perfectly unisex. But the evocative scent of the year award goes to the Armaf's Club de Nuit Précieux 1. In my humble opinion, this is the best from their Club de Nuit lineup. It is not overly smoky but has that sweet pineapple smell, a green woody scent profile underneath, and all of this rounded off with just the perfect amount of sweetness. It is suitable for all weather and every possible situation you could imagine. If you took anything value of this video, please hit that like button, it really means a lot to me. If you think I have left out some fragrances which I should have included in this list, please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you love fragrance related content like this, do consider subscribing to the channel as well. This video took a lot of effort and time, so hopefully you found this video interesting. And that's it for today's video. I will meet you all in an exciting new video. Till then, stay safe and as always, stay honest.